This first clip happened not even a month ago. On the night of October 14th, 2025, a suburban family in Alexandria, Virginia, caught something extremely disturbing on their Ring camera. It was three masked and costume figures standing at the front walkway. They ring the doorbell one by one. One of them steps forward, rings again. Then they just wait, silently.
Open this shit up! It's your worst nightmare!
The camera records them loitering for over 10 minutes, banging on the door, staring at the house, laughing softly.
Your worst nightmare! I'm gonna count to 10! If this door doesn't open, we're gonna come in! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll be back.
The family calls 911 and the father grabs a gun, planning on confronting them outside.
I don't know. Let me ask. Where they at?
I'm not even paying you. I can see who it was. You're going to the backside. I ain't.
My daughter is about to leave. Monty, put that away.
The trio then drives off in a silver SUV. Police later identified them as teenagers, with the help of 3 adults, including one of the teens' mothers. What started as a Halloween scare turned into a major investigation and hundreds of hours of police work. No charges have been filed yet, but the police chief has labeled it a serious moral failure. This footage comes from Kansas City. A doorbell camera captures a man stepping into frame from the left, climbing up onto the porch railing. He's trying to stay out of view while reaching for the Ring camera, clearly attempting to take it off the wall. Inside the home were a woman and her teenage son. The man outside was her ex-boyfriend. He couldn't get the camera loose, so he left. But about 30 minutes later, he came back. This time, he brought a cloth and tried to cover the camera lens completely. Only 3 minutes after that, the homeowner's son burst into her room, shouting that their car was on fire. By the time police and firefighters arrived, it was too late. The fire had spread, destroying the car and severely damaging the house. Investigators later confirmed what everyone already suspected. The fire wasn't an accident. Police were still searching for the ex-boyfriend when the footage began circulating online. The woman and her son survived, but their home didn't. This next clip was recorded just before 2 a.m. in Rochester, New York. The footage shows a man walking up to a front door and pressing the doorbell. Immediately after, he ducks out of sight, crouching behind a parked car at the edge of the driveway. He's holding what looks like a small club or blunt object in one hand. He's sweating, breathing heavily, and constantly glancing between the street and the house. as if he's expecting someone to show up at any second. It's clear from his erratic movements that something isn't right. He looks jittery, possibly under the influence of something.
Police on their way. Dude. Police on their way.
When no one answers the door, he finally stands up and starts to walk away. About a minute later, a voice can be heard shouting that the police are on their way. No one's sure who that voice belonged to. Some think it might have been a neighbor who saw the man hiding and decided to intervene. Others believe the man was the one being hunted, desperate to find a place to hide before someone caught up to him. Either way, his behavior and the weapon in his hand suggest that whatever he was doing out there at 2 a.m, it wasn't good. This next video was recorded in April of 2023 in a quiet, wooded part of Asheville, North Carolina. Late at night, a homeowner got a motion alert from her Ring camera. When she opened the app to check, she didn't see a person, but 3 black bears wandering around her front porch. The bears were tearing into a recently delivered package that had been left by the door. The woman decided to open the door and try to scare them off, but the bears weren't in much of a hurry to leave. One of them grabbed an entire bag of dog food in its mouth and casually walked off the porch while the others followed behind. It's a good reminder that in places like Asheville, it's not just people who might show up on your porch at night. In June of 2019, several homes across Chicago started receiving unexpected visits from a man dressed as a police investigator. He introduced himself as Investigator Jeff Rushmore. The man was a complete imposter. He wore a fake uniform, carried a counterfeit badge, and even had a radio that crackled with pre-recorded police chatter to make it sound convincing. One homeowner's Ring camera captured him standing on their porch.
Can you open the door?
26, I got you en route. Still Smart UK21 is going to be the 6th person. 900 North Villa, 900 North Villa. Looks like PD is with them. They can have some custody. Dylan, 84. Regional Bar 4739 Forest, 4739, that's Forest across the Chicago Prairie, called in by a resident. Nothing showing. Visual 103.
640 Gorge, the individual's not answering the door.
When no one answered, he stayed in character, pretending to talk into his radio, reporting that the residents weren't responding. A few blocks away, another camera caught him at a different home. This time, the homeowner actually opened the door.
Hi, sorry to bother you so late. Rushmore with the Winfield Police Department. I'm an investigator. One of your neighbors down the street reported a missing.
The fake investigator launched into a story about a missing person case and began asking questions. When the homeowner said they didn't know anything, the man simply thanked them and walked away. That's where the footage ends. No one knows what his real intentions were. Some believe he was trying to gain trust, to get people to open their doors so he could rob them, or worse. Despite multiple reports and clear footage, police were never able to identify who he was or why he did it. This incident took place in Texas just after 1:20 in the morning. The homeowner had been asleep when she was startled by the faint sound of metal clinking outside. She brushed it off at the time, but the next morning she noticed something strange. Marks and dents on the exterior of her home, as if someone had been trying to pry something open. Concerned, she decided to review her security footage.
DoorDash.
The first clip, captured by her doorbell camera, showed a woman standing at the front door, holding a delivery bag and claiming to be with DoorDash. On its own, it didn't seem alarming. Maybe a confused delivery driver who had the wrong address. But then she checked the footage from her backyard camera. Around 2 a.m., 4 men can be seen climbing into the yard, moving quietly toward the house. They began testing the windows, clearly attempting to break in. It soon became clear what was happening. The woman at the front door wasn't a confused delivery driver at all. She had been part of a setup, a distraction meant to lure someone to the door while the others tried to force their way in from behind. Luckily, no one inside had opened the door. When the group failed to get inside, they quickly fled the scene, running off through the yard and leaving together in a dark-colored sedan. Despite the clear footage, police were never able to identify or arrest any of them. This footage comes from Daytona Beach, Florida, where homeowner Walter Hickox lived in a quiet, wooded part of the city. It was a calm evening in January of 2022 when Walter stepped outside to let his 3 dogs onto the porch. At first, everything seemed normal, until he noticed one of the dogs staring intensely into the darkness just beyond the railing. A large black bear was climbing over the railing, heading straight for them. Walter lunged forward, putting himself between the animal and his dogs. He managed to shove the bear back, using all his weight to force it away from the door.
When I had time to just sit and just stare, it all hit me, and I started bawling. I couldn't believe how close to death I was, and I did it for my dog.
Walter suffered only minor injuries, and his dogs escaped completely unharmed. A potentially deadly encounter ended with everyone safe. This next clip was recorded around 3 in the morning on April 9th, 2023, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The homeowner was asleep when it happened. He didn't find out until later that morning, when he woke up to a ring notification on his phone. A woman was standing at his front door, trying multiple keys in the lock. She moved slowly, testing one after another, like she thought one of them would eventually work. At one point, she started searching around the porch, under the mat, in the flower pots, as if she was looking for a spare key. The homeowner said he had never seen her before. As the video went on, the woman began acting more erratically. She threw small rocks toward his car, then went back to the door to keep trying the locks. After a few more minutes of pacing and fumbling, she wandered off down the street and disappeared from view. She was never seen on the property again, and no one has ever identified who she was or what she wanted that night. This footage was captured in Flint, Michigan on April 24th, 2023. The home had 2 Ring cameras, one above the garage and another by the front door. Around 10 o'clock that night, a man wearing a red jacket walked up to the house with another person close behind him. Before either of them even knocked or rang the bell, the man in the jacket started trying to break down the door. The force of it was so strong, it knocked the Ring camera off the wall. But the door itself didn't give in. After a few seconds, the man stopped and circled around to the side of the house. Then he tried the same thing again on the side door, slamming it over and over. Inside, the homeowner woke up in a panic. They checked the camera feed to see what was happening, only to realize their doorbell camera was lying face down on the porch. Switching to the garage camera, they could finally see the two figures outside. The sound of the homeowner's voice coming through the speaker was enough to make the men run. Police were called immediately. When officers reviewed the footage, they noticed one of the men appeared to be armed. As of today, it's still unclear if either suspect was ever caught.